from Blair here. So I got a new accessory that's just come out for the Mini 5 Pro, and it's pretty cool. Not too many are have shown up yet. There looks like we're having to get them off of eBay and various resellers. DJI did have them, but they sold out very quickly, and they don't have them on the US site anyway. So what it is a new set of prop guards for the Mini 5 Pro, and we saw these about a year ago. We saw them in some of the spy photos when they were getting ready to launch the Mini 5 Pro, and we saw those round prop guard cages that were on it. These look a little different, but it's the same concept. Here, I'll show you what these look like. They initially came in one of those soft plastic bags that they put around everything, but I've had them opened. I just wanted to show you how they come packaged. That's the box, and a little bit of a description of features on the back. Now, I will tell you that you have to have the 1.00.0400 firmware on the aircraft before installing these and using them. It will do a few things. One of the things is it will make sure that they're actually properly installed and that you have them clipped on. I think there's some magnets involved, and that will make sure that that they're properly installed before you take off. Anyway, you can see, I want to show you this, but we have, of course, these locking props on the Mini 5 Pro that were a little bit different than what we've had in the past, with that ability to lock when they spin up and get the centripetal force, not centrifugal. And there you go. So we're used to these, and they're pretty good. They're a little bit louder than the screw-in ones, but boy, are they much more convenient in the field. And I think they're part of the reason that we can get the higher ascent speeds on this, the 10 meters a second speed, which is quite good. Anyway, this is the deal. So we get these like this stacked. They are magnetic, so you can see the magnets here, and they stack quite conveniently, so you can just kind of keep them all together. Let me put that in place there. There it is, goes right there. And, and they'll just, didn't do that too well. Anyway, they'll just stack and be a little bit more convenient for travel. And as far as mounting them, they're pretty easy. You can see on the Mini 5 Pro how there's these little slots under each motor, front and back, and that's the mounting point for these. There is also markings, the orange markings and the gray markings on the two types of props, the clockwise and counterclockwise props. So to put them on, you just squeeze these prongs like this and just fit them into that tab and just fit it over the shaft of the motor like this. So it's quite easy. I'll just put this one on like this and clip it into place. Now you can see I don't quite have it there. You can see the one side is sitting above the slot there. So, just double check yourself, make sure that both sides are clipped in. There's no great force putting them on. You just kind of fit them over the shaft of the motor and make sure that they're clipped on. When you put these on, you will get a message that you need to make sure you have the firmware, 0400 firmware, on the drone. It will actually come up and mention that to you before you even fly, which I think is a good idea, because doing it without making that provision, there could be some issues with it. I don't know if it's for weight, but I do know that they generally have the props spin a little faster when the payload's higher, so they may compensate for the extra weight. Another thing you may want to note is that if you use a standard battery, these drones are a little quieter with the standard battery because less payload. But that's it. They just fit on there like that. They're, sturdily attached. They're not going to come off. And that's it. So this will enable you to fly into some brushy areas without getting the props stopped by fine sticks and leaves and stuff. They won't be able to get in there as easily, and this thing will be able to recover when it's hitting like little fine branches, whereas otherwise it stops one prop and then everything, everything falls apart at that point. It just shuts itself off and falls. Anyway, so that's pretty good. I'll take it outside and I'll show you what it sounds like. It's a little bit, I want to say there's a slight whine to it, but this is where it's notable because the props is different. These props are included, they're captive in there, and they're not replaceable. So if you damage one of these, if you break the prop or whatever, you're going to have to get a replacement. I did order 2 sets so I can have a set of replacements for these if they should break. But that is it. They're pretty straightforward. That's almost like a rivet right there holding it, so there's no screw and there's no way to replace the prop. But look at the shape of that. So you can see it has almost like a Z shape at the tip, which is quite different. And I'll give you an idea what they sound like in just... So I have the drone powered up and the prop guards on here, and I'm just going to launch it. You'll see that there's a, somewhat of a whiny sound, and it'll sound quite loud this close, but it's really not. You can even hear a passing vehicle. It's pretty loud, so it sounds like this. That's the props running. You'll hear nothing, but you'll hear this. A little bit of a whiny sound. If I get a little bit further away, you'll see it's not too terrible. And that's it at about 10 meters or so. Maybe 8 meters. I'll put them up. And now he's up about 10 meters. So there's a little bit more sound, pressure. It's not, it's not that awful, but it's more noticeable. It will give you protection as you fly in unprotected areas. And what I'm really curious to see is if they add some modes for us. Some of the modes that we have on the Flip and on the Neos where we can fly without a controller. We do have that button, and all they did was quick transfer. Set it up to do quick transfer, which is not all that much. We can do that already. So, I'm not sure about the value of that. But there you go, folks. And, if you, found this interesting, give us a like. Always appreciate a like and a subscription if you want to do it. And, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.